Hi guys, how's it going today?
It's going well, thanks.
Oh,
Good,
great.
good. Well, this movie is hilarious, and before we get into the comedic part of it, I don't know about you guys, but every time I see something on, HBO or Netflix or whatever, and it has to do with cults, I'm kind of just drawn to it because I always think like, why do people join cults? I just find it fascinating. What is missing in someone's life? So, David, let's start with you. Like, what kind of got you into this when it was presented to you, and then looking at the serious side of it, but then making this into this mockumentary?
Well, it started with a great script by Ivo Raza. And Ivo approached me, said, I wrote this actually with you in mind.
Oh,
And I'd like you to take a look at the script. And, I immediately responded to it. I thought it was brilliant. And I said, of course I'm in. And then we talked about how to make it together. And Ivo basically moved into my house in LA. He lives in Miami. And we said, okay, let's break this thing down. What are the advantages? And one of the things Ivo wanted to do, he underwrote the script so that there'd be some room
mhm.
for improv.
Right.
And that's where I kind of jumped in and said, let's go all the way with that. I think we're going to find moments that we don't even think of once we get some really good talent. And that was really the game changer, is the fact that we got some unbelievable talent like David Koechner, Ed Begley Jr. These are guys who are pros in this space, in the
Yeah.
mockumentary genre, that know how to improv, that know how to run with an idea and just go. And that's how this really worked with all those one-on-one interviews.
That's amazing. And Kelly, how about for you getting involved with the project, and then you guys get to play brothers, but there's a little bit of tension there. Things,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
kind of cool. It was kind of cool. I mean, Dave and I talked before the shoot, and we were close friends, so all that camaraderie was already there. We
Yeah.
didn't have to go get beers and kind of create something. It was already there. I don't think we even rehearsed. Maybe we had one rehearsal or something before the shoot, and then we just kind of went into it, and it just sort of happened naturally. And those scenes where we get to kind of just be bros and create the self-help group, all that kind of stuff just came naturally, and it just kind of developed into this place where we started to butt heads, and a
Yeah.
girl got in the way, and
Girl always gets in the way. Come on.
Yeah, like that ever
There.
happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and David, you were talking about already, touched on the improv aspect of it, and when you have so many pros on hand like that, as you were saying, and then you throw Ja Rule into the mix. I mean, come
Well,
on.
here's the thing. Ja Rule crushed it. And
Yeah.
I got to give him all the props. Every now and then I have a good idea. One of them was, I saw Ja Rule and Koechner in the dressing room together, and they were like bros, like this, like they're clicking, they're high-fiving. I said, Ivo, let's put them together. Let's put the two guys together in a room. It'll give Ja Rule something to feed off of. Koechner will lead the way, and let's see what happens, And it just worked like magic. And I got to give Ja Rule all the props. He just jumped in like an old pro. But again, when you have a guy like Koechner in there,
Yeah.
who lives in this space, it's just going to make that process go easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Kelly, I'm watching this and I'm going, wow, this location is gorgeous. Like if I could do a retreat there, I'd be like, hey, no problem. And then I find out it was one of Frank Sinatra's homes. Holy crap!
Yeah, that was pretty cool. A lot of us didn't know going in that it was Frank Sinatra's old house. And I know Johnny Bananas was like taking videos and posting them on Instagram, like, we're at Sinatra's house, and everyone was super excited about it. And it just added something to the whole experience.
Absolutely. I can't even imagine the feel. I mean, well, look, obviously he hasn't been there in a long time, but
Yeah,
just knowing what might have gone on in that house.
I'm sure it was rocking in the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we kind of recreated one of those moments when we had in the film, we have a big party in the backyard.
Yeah.
I'm sure Sinatra threw many of those.
I would think so. And, and you get people to do some pretty crazy stuff. And like I said, like you have also Eric Roberts and his wife and that, and they just felt to me watching this that they felt just going with the flow and having fun. But I have to say, wrapping Chaz Bono in cellophane, I don't know. Good on him.
Chaz was amazing, and he's been very supportive and active in continuing on with this group, and talking about the movie, and being a part of this PR push that we're in now because of
Yeah.
the release on May 4th. So having Chaz jump in with that kind of enthusiasm and excitement, it was amazing, because Chaz has a lot of people interested in him right now, and we wanted diversity. We wanted to show that Reboot Camp attracts all different kinds of people, and that's the point. There is no one person who
Right.
gets drawn into a cult or gets drawn into one of these groups. It hits everybody across the board. Black, white, trans, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Everybody is susceptible to a charismatic leader.
Yeah. Kelly, what was it like, just bonding with everybody? I understand everybody it was kind of like a camp in a way when you guys shot this. Sounds like to me.
Yeah, out of all the films and shows and everything I've done, I feel like this film, it actually felt like we were living the experience. I think it's because we kind of shot it that way. We did all the camp stuff first, and then I went and did all that kind of narration type stuff afterwards, where we had the one-on-one interviews, and doing it that way, it was great because it honestly felt like I experienced all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
It was a really smart idea Evo had, which was to make sure the interviews were at the end. So, in other words, we shot the movie, and then the last thing were our one-on-one interviews reflecting on all these moments, because we weren't sure what all those moments would be, because it wasn't necessarily just what was in the script. Obviously, there were all these other moments we discovered. So when Kelly and I got those moments to tell the story, looking back, we were actually looking back, just like
it's really cool. It's really well done. And David, for you, I mean, and I take no offense being Canadian, by the way, because you're French Canadian, and I'm all in there with you for on that respect. But playing Gordon and playing Seymour, like, keeping it all straight and getting it confused. I mean, was it a bit of a challenge for you, or just a lot of fun?
It's funny because it was maybe 2 weeks before we were shooting, and again, Evo's in my house, and we're like in this zone. He's like, watch this documentary, watch this documentary. I went through every cult documentary on Netflix and Amazon, and then I'm going through books. He's like, read this book. And then so finally, 2 weeks before shooting, he says, "What's your guru character?" And I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was just me, and then me with like a skirt. And he's like, well, no, don't you think you should try and come up with like another character? And I'm like, yes, I should. And he's like, and then I went through that list of documentaries, and there's this one on Netflix called Holy Hell. Yes. You got this former gay adult porn actor turned cult leader who walked around in his little Speedo, and they were carrying a chair for him. And I said, Evo, that's the guy. I said, get me a Speedo, I'll get a little gut going, and like we'll have it. I said I'll do the best I can to get more and more bloated as the movie goes. And as you see it, that was one of the things I was trying to get to. Maybe was doing a little bit of this in the scene where she's buttering me up.
Yes, yeah.
Those who haven't seen the film, you'll see when Maya Claire starts moving in.
Yeah.
But that's the idea, is like you start off with good intentions and a certain way, and then the power corrupts you, and you blow up and blow up and blow up until you're this thing. Yeah. So that's kind of how it happened. When it started, that the influence for that character was actually the guy in Holy Hell for me. Wow. And then it was like, okay, I can do French Canadian. I'm from Montreal, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Any skirt malfunctions, I have to know. I'm so shallow. Like I kept looking at that skirt and I'm going, it had to have fallen off.
no skirt malfunction. You know, I did have that scene that you see where I'm in the headstand, which for, you know, usually I'm pretty good at, but I think with the extra weight I was putting on, I was a little wobbly, and I fell over a few times until I got it right on that final take.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was about it.
Kelly,
wasn't-
is it hard to keep a straight face when you're doing stuff like this? Because especially that big slide that was the vagina. I mean, come on. How do you not look at that and not crack up?
Yeah, no, you can't. And Nicole Aniston, the porn star, it was her slide, so that just made it all the more funny. And you know, that was a crazy day. But yeah.
Looks like
I mean, I'm happy you brought her up, because that's the other thing is we had real stars in this from
Yeah.
all kinds of forms. So adult film star with Nicole Aniston, who did an amazing job playing herself.
yes.
All, you know, Kelly mentioned Johnny Bananas. We also had about 5 or 6 other cast members from the real world, because Jim Johnson, who played the interviewer in the movie, he's actually the guy who's been running the real world, or was for about 20 seasons.
Wow.
So that was one of the key things is that I wanted to bring in another producer from that world, because, you know, I don't know that world as a film person. Evo doesn't know that world as an actual film director from the narrative world. And so Jim really kind of brought in the reality world for us. And then it was like, well, crap, we have him. Let's get some reality stars. And then Kelly goes and calls Corinne Olympios, and we get her. And, you know, she was great too. So getting all those eclectic different people, and then a guy like Eric Roberts to play himself, you know, was amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's a really lot of fun, and it's been my pleasure to talk to you both today about it. It's I just spoke to Chaz, and I'm excited because I got to talk to Ed Begley and David Koechner and all my favorites. So I'm very, very happy. But thank you for your time today. It's a lot of fun, and we will plug the heck out of it here in Canada. Don't you worry.
We love it. I'm in Canada right now. I'm in Sault Ste. Marie doing a Christmas film. So love it.
Are you really? Oh yeah. Is it like a Hallmark film? They shoot all these Hallmarks.
It's a CBC film right now.
Oh,
It'll be on
good.
the CBC in Canada. So.
Enjoy. Well, the weather's getting better here, so enjoy.
Little
Stay
rainy,
safe,
a
you
little
guys,
cold.
and thank you for your time today. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
so much, Bonnie.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, Bonnie.